Good morning, everybody. Still having some issues with this changes of this streaming program, but getting closer to figuring out why they made these changes and making it work. So those of you on social media, that's why we weren't on here yesterday. But some bright person thought what was good wasn't good enough, so they had to go and screw it up. Anyway, so we had a little increase in inflation data. Market liked it. The market just doesn't care, right? Maybe nothing to care about, actually. Who knows? Anyway, um, market's acting bullishly. It hasn't. I know, Dan. I got to put up the charts. Um, but nothing much of significance happening here yet. Getting it, getting it. So, been consolidating yesterday. Little dip. Market picked up on that dip. Covered that yesterday. It was like perfect setup. I'll scroll to it so you can see it on the futures. Same stuff on the what I mentioned in the room there, but it was like perfect turning point. You can see the cursor there on the 65-minute. Came down near that pivot over there to the left. Prices were trending down. It was kind of like just a classic kind of climactic end to the move where you see the bars are relatively equal in size, give or take. You got some bigger ones there, and the big green ones punch into resistance, and sellers just knock it right back down again. And then you get the wide range bar. The tick hits an extreme. It's at support, and you got the bounce. Kind of textbook. So there's the reaction to the news. And you get a little blip up here, insignificant relative to higher time frames. Just an inside day. Sellers at pivots, and we'll just have to see where things end the day as to whether it's ready to move higher or not from the daily time frame. Because right now things are just consolidating. I don't know whether it needs to get down here to minus support or whether we're going to get a significant correction bar. We got a little one yesterday. So while this bar right here, right, that bar right there, it stopped at that prior day's low. Right. So not every prior day's low will be a pivot on a smaller time frame. So just pointing that out, that it did happen to line up that way near that day's low, and we got the little bounce. So on any day, the first reference point of resistance is the prior day's high. Support is the prior day's low. What might move the markets at this point today? Probably not much of anything. Just looking at what other coming out. Inflation rate month over month is at 11 o'clock. GDP growth rate is at 11 o'clock. Uh, that is US? Yes. Okay, so and then tomorrow we have some other reports that maybe the market might be more interested in as to a movement of significance. Volume low over there? I adjusted the other day because of some TV noise coming through. Low. Okay, we can make some adjustment there. I can inch it up a little bit more. This is crazy what's going on with these programs. Is it not opening up? I'll do the best I can. These settings aren't opening up. I don't know what's going on here this morning. All right, so marking time. And long discussion as to it's just marking time in this time frame. cues, marking time. And that's up at resistance on the weekly time frame. There's a big bar there. So things move that far that fast. They're going to need to consolidate a little bit. So, and I guess we'll just have more of this today until proven otherwise. So the Dow was a little more selling pressure, yesterday. Had a larger red bar. So a little bearish bar of some significance. We'll see if this follow through or not. Please look to the left. See where there's support. You got your pivots there. So far it's holding. Trend is up. Trend is up. Trend is sideways. So as we look at this, until proven otherwise, we have a trading range. Small caps, same. Was more negative yesterday. Again, trading range situation there. Highs and lows. Mark them off. Be aware. Bottom of the range. Does it get through the top of the range? Does it go through the bottom of the range? Pretty easy the way it's set up at this moment. Gold on this pivot came down real hard. I'm thinking there could be an opportunity down here to buy. Since the weekly is in an uptrend, the 20 is there, which is equal to the 100 on the daily. And the 100, you can see where the cursor is on the daily time frame. It's a little bit higher than where I put the little green area. But somewhere down here is where buyers should want to be willing to come in a little bit more aggressively. So we'll be looking for that in the next few days. Crude oil. Is it going to break down? Mentioned yesterday. New president says he's going to turn on the spigot. What does that mean? That means more supply. Who's going to want the supply? Is there going to be enough demand to accept it? Or is it going to drive prices down? There's your long-term support. We wait to see if it's going to break lower. Well, and let me find what I'm looking for here. That looks pretty bullish, right? It's at the top of the range, but that gapped up and so far holding on. So energy stocks are questionable, but maybe they'll go higher in the face of that. So sometimes they do. Sometimes oil goes up and energy stocks go down and vice versa. It's counterintuitive, but it happens. Silver on support there. We'll continue to see if that stabilizes. Deep retracement. Interest rates down a little bit. So that's I guess better than them continuing to go up. This did not bother the markets. Right? The election news was more important. But in the past, interest rates going up like that would have put some pressure on it. Didn't happen now. So some changes as to the intermarket relationship. We'll wait to see what happens. And I'll get to SPX in a second. But transports look great. They broke out. That's a big plus for the markets. Overall, everything's, there's lots of big pluses. The markets are just consolidating a little bit. For the moment, Bitcoin looks like it's heading to 100,000. I said yesterday, like, wow, wow, wow. Right? On the election and just bottoming tail bar. Intraday, little trading range there. We'll assume it can break out and go higher unless something changes that. We got to look at internals here. So, yeah. So backing off a little bit, not a big deal. Inside day there on the daily time frame. Same story there on the 65 support, resistance, trading range, middle of the range, directionless from an intraday point of view. Weekly trend up, daily trend up, waiting for a correction to continue, for things to set up, go higher, unless they come way down here. We don't have any reason to think that as of this moment. There's an unfilled gap down here. It really should not get filled in the near future. All right. So basically at yesterday's close, pretty much near unchanged. And SPX, either strike was touched yesterday. I said the high strike was more or less the no-brainer. And here we are today. And the downside got that little unfilled gap down there, the big one down here. I suspect it's not going to touch either one today since that news is out. We've got that other stuff coming out, as mentioned, a little later. I'll just keep that in mind. But the markets right now, you saw the blip up and they're backing off at resistance, kind of like playing ping pong off of support and resistance. Yes. Oh, we can take a peek. Oh, the internals. These maybe didn't change a little bit. I wouldn't suspect that that changed that much. A big increase in bullishness enthusiasm yesterday. Our equity and total put call ratios. The equity moves faster, is up almost touching the upper band. Total, the lower band. So sentiment is getting a little heated up. Would make sense. Things are consolidating a little bit. Breath actually stinks, especially yesterday. But yesterday was a correction kind of day. But it was kind of negative for a correction day, especially on a closing basis, closing down there at minus 1600. And so part of what I mentioned yesterday, as far as this pulling back a little bit, and said, well, it'd be great if these pulled back a little bit, but that didn't happen. The breath pulled back, but sentiment got worse. So they're not aligned. But what I would take away from this is that it's more supportive of further short-term correction while things kind of alleviate the over enthusiasm. And then, today's the 13th. We got a little ways off before Thanksgiving, but historically, that's a bullish time. So maybe a little more corrective into the seasonal period, and then prices go higher from there. As of today, not much of expectations of anything of significance related to the broader markets. Let's take a quick look at bond prices, which appear to be stabilizing for now. They're on this pivot, so nothing of significance other than stabilization for now. But we keep an eye on all of these to discern whether something is about to happen. Semiconductors, tech was under pressure. That's formed a trading range here, and this into an area where maybe some buyers begin to show up in this, filling this gap. And I'll just turn it over to Dan in a second because transports look good. Financials, regional banks look good, need a little bit more correcting. The big financials look good, could use a little more correcting. So bias going into today is maybe some day trades, maybe some credit spreads will materialize. As far as bigger movements, not much expectation for that for today. All yours, Dan.
Are you done, Greg? I didn't hear you.
Yeah,
Oh,
talking. I don't know. Did anybody else hear me hand over to Dan?
yeah, I didn't hear the hand off. All right. Let's go. I feel better this morning well, yesterday morning too. I had on my big computer. This yesterday afternoon I didn't. MT Live today. We'll be talking about we call it trading in the new administration, where are the opportunities with markets up so much? So that's what we'll do. All right, alarms. Seg. I had an up alarm go off. We're short this. We're in trail mode. Um, I had to stop right over here just to protect gains. So go ahead and just move stuff 5 minute time. MMSI also, I had a low alarm go off. We're in trail mode, but I don't see any prints. I'll watch him at the open. And that's it on my alarms. Let's go right to the interest list here. Well, a couple of miscellaneous things here before I look at earnings. So FXI, this, gaps, so there's going to be, you can't say island reversals all over the place, but you could say gaps all over the place. But look, at the high of the Bear Island reversal, this breakout, Bear Island, this one gap down. I'm going to set an alarm at 30:45 because if it starts to take out yesterday's low after today's gap up, that is room to follow maybe to 28 bucks, which is a huge percent. So 30, 45. But one of these miners, that was earnings pre-market 25. Yeah, that's not a great exhaustion gap. Tesla is gapping up. I don't know why, but I read that they have a recall. Who cares? It's gapping up. So I'm gonna set a low alarm here, about 333, because this could be the bounce that we short a call spread into. Today being Wednesday, we would only have two overnight gap risk days. So what did I say? 333. Yeah, just glancing at the things. Netflix has been on a tear. We actually did buy it on this breakout day, but then we got assigned last Friday. Amazon is a buy setup pre-market 15-minute chart. And that's a little bull flag right there. Amazon's a long watch. KXIN, a dog. Something's going on today, big old gap. I don't know. I don't like trades like that. Greg mentioned KMX yesterday. My alarm went off. I see one print up here. We'll come back. Yeah, one of my pilot buddies told me about Spirit yesterday. He said it was tanking last night because they could be on their final lifeline with financing. They're in trouble. Space bottoming pattern. I got an alarm up here at 750. All right, those were miscellaneous. Here, CCJ, we entered yesterday. Alex found it. Looked great. We bought call options until it closed. Wow, Amgen up 10 bucks. Wow, that's over 50% retracement from this afternoon tankage. They had some bad news, obviously. All right, earnings now. SWKS, 81 bucks. That's a nasty downtrend, daily, weekly, monthly. Look at that. That's a monthly breakdown now. I would have to blow the chart up to see where buyers want to step up. But I'm going to put this in a window just in the category of it's a bearish gap, but it's big and it's a real company. So let's see what happens. Now, Greg, I forget when was earnings? All right, in any event, I have shopped as a call spread watch, the 15s. We were talking about it yesterday afternoon, right when it broke down here under the 20 on the 15. Would have been an awesome time to sell a call spread. Kava 169, that's a bullish gap, but look at that, that's an IPO. That is a stellar IPO performer. Now I'm gonna put it on a window. It's a bullish gap, but just possibly, um, if it gets sold, it could be the calls are going to be jacked on the big gap up, so it could be a 30-minute low idea. Now, had this opened flat, I'd be all over this as a 1, 2, 3. Gap's too big, but that's a very bullish 1, 2, 3 right there. Out of consolidation is exactly what we want. Close to the MAs, price void. All right, bucket. I just had an alarm go off. Yeah, 7 a.m. All right, so here's one's very similar to that other one. 1, 2, 3 coming out of consolidation. So I'm gonna put that. It was spot over here was the one I was confusing with shop. All right, I'm gonna put this in a window, bucket. That could be a 5, 10-minute high, looks great. Yeah, spot's the one. 458. It's bullish as can be, but again, it might be excessive. I'll tell you after 10 a.m. or 10:30 how it trades. Let me take a couple of these out. My other computer, if I can watch it. MRSN gapping up. Yeah, I got enough to watch. Now this one, it's gapping to Monday's high. This would be a 30-minute high idea as a breakdown failure, gapping over a red bar. Like GFF will come back, no prints. We'll see. Maybe 30-minute high, but it still looks like a dog. There's our bucket. But another bullish gap. That's a buy on a pullback. But it's going to take a while for it to set up for something that I would be comfortable in. Cart 45.50. Bear gap will come back. No prints. Ribbon. Maybe that we were saying this thing. It may bottom or it may continue its death slide, and based on this gap, there's a couple more points in the camp of maybe it's bottoming. Mod G. All right, now this one, let's set an alarm at 9:45 because if it gives up this bullish gap, then it's a continuation breakdown. Finance, maybe they need to give some money to Spirit Airlines. Oxy. It's in a downtrend, but over yesterday's high might be the start of a bottoming pattern for for a put spread at least. Oxy. Oh, you know what? We're in this Starbucks is gapping down for some reason. You know what? This is gapping under our shoot. All right, let me move stop 30-minute low. Hold on. That's gapping under the stop. You know, people ask, how can you tell how can you not get caught in a breakout failure? Answer, don't trade. It's the honest answer. Because that was a closing breakout. There was nothing wrong with that. Daily, weekly, monthly were all in alignments. So it's gonna
It
do
hasn't
it.
failed yet, Dan. I mean, it's not doing what we'd like it to do this morning, but you might get a bear sandwich.
Yeah, but look at the, you see the gap down too?
I'm looking at it on my thing, and it's not breaking the base. So it's under the wide range, the breakout bar, but it's still on top of the support on TC 2000, where I'm looking at it anyway.
Well, I mean, this, I don't want to waste time now, but I call it a failure. Now, you know, if your stop was under here, that's a different story, but that wide range bar immediately being negated is a breakout failure. It broke it. Man, that's
I
loud.
disagree, but maybe more about the, maybe the market just being in correction mode. I still think it's going to go higher, but let's see what happens.
Let's see. Yeah, Mara had earnings. And these miners, look at a WIGMI here. The fact that it negated yesterday's gap down is bullish. And they're going wild for Bitcoin stocks. Pavel asked about NVIDIA yesterday's high. Sure. That's a continuation pattern breakout. Yeah, went sideways. You got a red bar ignored. The tick's almost 1,000. Wow. So yeah, it looks good. I'll set an alarm 149.55. Ideally, Pavel, it will slop around and trigger after 30 minutes. All right, let me go through these. I don't have any alarms going on. All right, pay. It's a bullish gap, but excessive. I don't know what to do with that. RKT, bearish gap down. Rocket Lab, possible short-term exhaustion. Call spread, 30-minute low idea. PGNY, that's an igniting gap. That is ugly. I mean, percent-wise, it's huge, but that's ugly. Nitra, another bullish gap, but too big for me. That's bullish. That's a that would be a great buy setup if it came back. It gives us 3 controlled days and a reversal on minor support. It kind of has a feeling though of a bio. I have to look it up. Docs is in the emergency room today. That's ugly. Plus, gapped right to the 20 and see how buyers stepped up. So 30-minute high, this would be a put spread idea. Same with this, gap on the 200 and support. So those are 2 put spread ideas. This, no pattern on soon. YouTube saying I'm shorting Roblex. I'm jumping into short Roblex because I don't like them. All right, well that's an interesting trading strategy. I would not short this. Why? Because it's not a short setup. It's a bull 1, 2, 3 in the upper 80%. Space alarm, maybe 30-minute high. SMCI. I think the news was they are delaying their 10Q. So more negative accounting stuff. Zulu India, maybe 30-minute high. All right, so that's it on that. All right, this SEG, I said 5-minute high. So 232.78. ALB, Albemarle. The other one that I questioned, let's see, that our alarm went off. MMSI. All right, so that did not gap down. Let's see. MMSI, our stop is 103.68. All right, so it stopped out cleanly at a profit. I didn't have to deal with, gap exception. MODG, low alarm. Remember what I said? I said if it gives up the bullish gap, that's a 30-minute low short right there. FXI, low alarm. Remember we talked about that one? MODG. Let's say, I'm not going to say Alex, but, many people will say, but then you got major support right here. And it's the concept of transfer of demand. Count how many football players there are above that. So it doesn't bother me, that pivot right there. All right, maybe 10-minute low, but this thing looks good. Albemarle. Triple M never triggered. Deleting. It's at this gap fill. I think it needs to bobble around a bit. Wow, meta tanking here in the 15. Yeah, I like that. Yesterday's low. I'll set an alarm 61.20. Worms going on here. CELH. All right, this stopped out yesterday. So this was an old alarm on the big computer. So ignore it. J. Well, yes, it gapped up and fell. Yes, but we use the term gap and crack for a very specific extended daily pattern. Okay, no, I'm just clarifying. Many times I answer it's for other people listening to. STT alarm. All right, nothing to do. Set new alarm 9670. Low alarm 9450. Banks still holding up well. Oh, FXI, I forgot to look at. Yeah, there's no entry right here, but I would have preferred this better with a bigger topping tail. And then tomorrow we would short under the lows. Sam, ARMK. Sam, I like this mod G so much better and eBay better. Because you still got all that support right there, but it's a power downtrend on the 15. But I like this one and eBay better. So XOM low alarm. Yeah, and so I immediately look up at my well, I'm short the 120 puts. I think it's a long in the advisory letter. And I'm gonna trim my position a little here. Sure got spready on me. Oh, this bucket I mentioned, BKKT. All right, so that was a gap and go. So it just needs to simmer down. Oh, Home Depot. Oh, that's a big gap. All right, so we covered half yesterday. Yeah, we closed half yesterday at 60%. And our stop was 412. Yeah, so that stepped down. but I said tighter of break even. 422. Yeah, 0.38. All right, so we're still out on the back half and a gain also.